The Cathari Dominion struck without warning. They arrived in a formation so arrogant, so unhurried, that the settlers of Caelus Prime believed it must have been a diplomatic escort, or perhaps a mistaken incursion. The Cathari warships hung above the skies like iron thrones, their hulls inscribed with banners of conquest, earned over centuries of oppression. They opened fire. No negotiations, no demands, only fire. The colony's orbital defenses, meant only for pirates, cracked under a single volley. Children ran through the burning fields as shard cannon bombardments scoured the surface. The Cathari's attack was methodical, cold, and drenched in a casual cruelty born of absolute confidence. On the surface, a human envoy, a soldier of the United Terran Guard stationed to oversee Caelus, was dragged before the alien commander. Bound, beaten, and forced to kneel, he listened as the Cathari captain declared, "Humanity will learn its place. You are soft, you are fragile, you are prey. Your colonies are gifts to us. Your people are chattel. There is no retaliation coming. Your Earth is distant, decadent, and unwilling to bleed for these forgotten worlds." The soldier, blood dripping down his face, lifted his head. His voice, cracked but unwavering, rang out, "You think we are prey? You will regret this day. Not for me, not for this colony, but for what follows. You will wish Earth had never heard my scream." The Cathari laughed. Then they executed him in front of the survivors. The Dominion burned Caelus Prime to ash, confident that humanity would do nothing. They left one survivor alive, an old woman, to carry the tale back to Earth. A message, they thought, of subjugation. They could not have known it was a spark, say, the arrogance of victors for weeks after the massacre. The Cathari rejoiced. The halls of their dominion rang with songs of conquest. Feasts were held in orbit over enslaved worlds. Captains traded tales of human cries and colonial fires. They mocked Earth as a civilization of scholars, merchants, and pacifists, more interested in philosophy than war, more enamored with trade treaties than bloodshed. "They cannot even defend their outer colonies," one admiral sneered. "What hope have they against the Dominion?" "They will do nothing," another agreed. "They will swallow this humiliation, as they have swallowed every slight. Humanity hides behind words. We wield power. We will cull their worlds, and they will thank us for mercy." In the star chambers of power, Cathari leaders openly debated whether to carve Earth into provinces or simply reduce it to ash. The humans, they thought, would accept either fate, but among humanity, silence spread. Not weakness, not fear. Silence. A silence so deep it echoed across the void. The silence before the storm. The first whispers came from listening posts at the edge of Terran space. Ships no longer traveled leisurely. They moved in formation. Civilian lanes were cleared. The skies around Mars filled with traffic unlike any in living memory. Deep dock facilities that had slept for decades roared awake, disgorging iron titans long thought obsolete. When Cathari scouts dared approach the Sol frontier, they were greeted by radio silence. No replies, no protests. Only the quiet of a predator drawing in breath. Then came the first broadcast. A simple message, unencrypted, translated into every language the galaxy knew. "You drew first blood. Now hear the anthem of our survival." The transmission carried the final words of the soldier on Caelus Prime. The refusal. The vow. His defiance, broadcast across the stars, struck like a bell in the dark. For the first time, the Dominion faltered, and then the fleets began to move. Full. The mobilization of Earth from Earth's dry docks. Dreadnoughts rose, monuments of steel the size of cities, their keels forged in the gravity wells of gas giants. Carriers, bristling with fighters like swarms of hornets, joined them. Titans that had slumbered since the interstellar Concorde lit their engines, shaking off centuries of dust. The galaxy had always whispered about humanity's wars, ancient conflicts where entire continents burned, where cities vanished beneath clouds of fire. But the humans had grown quiet, patient, their fleets hidden away, their soldiers turned to scholars and explorers. The Cathari had mistaken patience for weakness. Now they saw the truth. On every channel, on every wavelength, the same phrase repeated, "We are coming." Entire systems fell silent at the words. Alien traders abandoned human space, fleeing before the storm. Allied species, once skeptical of Terran resolve, watched with horrified awe as the mobilization spread like wildfire. Earth did not sue for peace. Earth did not bargain. Earth prepared for war. The fall of the Dominion's armies, the first strike was surgical. A Cathari fleet stationed over a conquered world found their communications jammed. Before they could even react, a Terran dreadnought emerged from the void. It did not hail. It did not demand surrender. It opened fire. The battle lasted 11 minutes. When it was over, the Dominion fleet was ash, and the enslaved world looked to the skies and wept as human banners unfurled once more. But that was only the opening note. The real retaliation came in waves. Fleets blotting out suns, their drives igniting the void with fury. Human marines, clad in black armor, descended onto Cathari strongholds like storms, their weapons tearing through defenses as though they were parchment. The Cathari screamed into the void for reinforcements. None came fast enough. Every system they had conquered, every fortress they had built, crumbled before the relentless advance. One soldier's refusal became the anthem of humanity's survival. The soldiers of Earth whispered as they marched. The phrase was carved into the hulls of ships, painted across banners, broadcast into the dark as the battle cry of vengeance. Retribution. Without mercy, when the Cathari High Command finally gathered their greatest armada, they believed they would crush humanity's momentum in one decisive clash. Over 600 warships assembled near the twin stars of Jal. They never expected what rose against them. Humanity brought not hundreds, but thousands of ships, a tide of steel and fire that filled the void so completely it seemed as if the stars themselves had been smothered. Dreadnoughts in formation unleashed broadsides that split enemy ships apart in single volleys. Carriers vomited fighters in endless waves, darting through alien ranks like wolves through sheep. The Cathari's fleet disintegrated within hours. Survivors tried to flee, only to find every escape lane already cut off by human interceptors. No quarter was given, no mercy offered. Humanity's answer to the slaughter of Caelus Prime was absolute. And through it all, the words of the fallen soldier played on open comms. "You will regret this day." The Cathari's arrogance had birthed their annihilation. 7. Ashes and echoes. The Dominion collapsed within months. Their proud banners were torn down, their capitals reduced to rubble. Entire species they had enslaved rose in revolt, armed and shielded by Terran steel. Those who survived spoke in hushed tones of humanity's wrath, of fleets that moved like storms, of armies that never stopped advancing, of commanders who never negotiated once war was joined. On Cathari homeworlds, silence reigned where once there had been boasts. Survivors whispered, "Never provoke Earth again," because they had seen what followed. They had seen patience turn to fury. They had seen vengeance without limits. They had seen one soldier's refusal, his defiance in the face of death, become the anthem of humanity's survival. 8. The legacy of refusal years later. When monuments were raised on the ruins of Caelus Prime, they bore no statues of admirals or generals. Instead, at the center of the colony stood a single figure, head lifted, defiant even in death. The unknown soldier whose refusal had lit the fire. His words were etched into the stone for all who came after. "You will regret this day." Every human child learned them. Every ally repeated them. Every foe remembered them. And across the galaxy, one truth became legend. Humanity may forgive. Humanity may wait. But if ever again provoked, their vengeance is infinite.